Hello friends, Angie Aldridge here, fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach. I just wanted to address a question that I got from a new client here. I thought this might be helpful to come on here, do some short little clips of questions that maybe you even have yourself or client situations that I have now. So you can message me on Instagram, it's at Transformation by Angie. So the question I have here, when losing fat, should I focus on macros or calories? So when we are trying to lose fat, we all know, or we should know, that we want to be in a calorie deficit. So whether we are in that deficit from nutrition or through exercise, it's going to be very important that we are in some sort of deficit. Therefore, we're going to burn and tap into that fat stores. So my issue with doing calories and focusing on just calories alone is we typically do need to make sure that we are having enough of each macronutrient. So when it comes to, especially if you are, say, a competitor and you're really trying to lean out, this is going to be really crucial that we're hitting those fats and carbs. But for lifestyle people, I would recommend my clients. So a lot of times what I have people do is just focus on the protein intake on its own. So what we'll do is we'll make sure we're hitting our protein, and then fats and carbs, we can have a little bit of variance there. So say one day you get in, maybe you go over on your fats. That's totally fine. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna drop the carbs down a little bit, vice versa. So one day you go up on your carbs, then we cut back on the fats. So I think as a lifestyle client, this is totally fine to kind of juggle those two out. Just making sure that we are hitting our protein. We definitely do not want to go low carb. I hear this a lot. People, think that they need to go low carb to lose fat and everything. That is not the case, especially when we are getting strength training in and we are training hard. We want to make sure we're getting enough carbs in, because if we are not, our body is actually going to break down our muscle and use that for energy, called gluconeogenesis. So this is really key that we are getting enough carbs. And so if we start feeling, maybe sluggish in the gym, we don't have a lot of energy, then we maybe need to think about adding maybe a refeed meal in, something higher carbs, just because we're gonna start feeling very sluggish. Like I said, that our body's preferred source of energy comes from carbohydrates. So very important there. The problem is when we think about carbohydrates and people are like, oh, I need to do low carb, is people think about pizza, ice cream, and treats and stuff like that. But those foods are actually higher in fat than they are in carbs. So we really want to make sure we are dialing in and getting those healthy carbohydrates in. So when it comes to focusing on getting, leaner, losing fat, changing our body composition, I would say the number one thing that clients can do and people can do is make sure you are prepared. So make sure you take the time to prepare some things ahead of time, especially if we're gonna be out on the road or something like that, because you cannot always guarantee or count on having healthy options when you're out and about, right? That's when we get into these pinches where we're kind of grabbing something and just eating whatever we kind of want because it's convenient, it's there, that's all there is available. So make sure we are prepping some meals ahead, especially some meals that we can take on the go, or even if we're at home and stuff. I find myself, if I have some healthy stuff that's already planned out, it's sitting in the fridge, I'm more likely to actually grab that and go with that, because it's actually what my body is needing, it's what it's wanting. I know sometimes we all think that, we actually really, really want that pizza or something like that. But if you really, truly ask yourself, chances are your body doesn't actually really want those things. You're just craving those things. And there's nothing wrong with giving into those cravings as long as it's not, every single day. But don't get me wrong, this is where the flexible dieting approach works really great. I obviously, I eat pizza, I eat ice cream, I eat chocolate, I eat all the good stuff. I just have a good balance and I make sure I fit it into, say, whatever my macronutrients are set at. So there's nothing wrong with indulging. That is not the idea, is to kind of cut back on stuff, because that's when we're going to go over and we're going to binge. So answering this question, I would say to, yes, focus on macros overall. and focus on getting that protein in. So calories are gonna play in there too, because obviously we need to be in that calorie deficit. So once you have your calories set, then just have your macronutrients set and just focus on the protein. And like I said, you can have some variance with the fat and carbs, and that should kind of help you kind of have a nice balance and not feel so restricted.